Yeah, the feeling among Brewer Nation was that, man, we just can't beat these guys, just can't beat the Dodgers. Wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. We'll talk about all that and a chance for a split in the series. All that more coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yeah, I was talking to Adam McCalvey, our friend from Brewers.com, terrific Brewers writer. We were talking right before the press conference today where Murphy came in to talk to the media. And it's like people think that the Brewers they could play the Dodgers 100 out of 100 times and the Dodgers would win like 99 of them or 100 of them. It just doesn't work that way. It's not like Wisconsin in college football playing stout. Wisconsin's going to win that 100 out of 100 times. It's not like that for Major League Baseball. Not at all. And the Brewers did get the job done. Didn't play great, but they got the job done. We'll talk all about that coming up here and get you ready for Thursday's game against the Cardinals. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. My name is Chuck Freeman, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin. I've seen it all with these guys, this Brewers, all the sports teams, but in particular with our teams. And our team is the Milwaukee Brewers. Good to have you along here on a Thursday morning, whether you're getting up in the morning or you're driving to the ballpark, going to an afternoon game. I love some weekday afternoon games. We'll see you out there a little bit later on. Always enjoy running into the great Brewers fans. And today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Yeah, it seems like, and I get it because previous two nights, Monday and Tuesday, was like, God, they're just dominating the Milwaukee Brewers. Big pay. And I'm not doing any favors there by going on and ranting against this big market, small market thing. And I'm not going to do that again today because we won. If the Brewers would have won on Monday, maybe you wouldn't have got that from me. If the Brewers would have swept this series, maybe you wouldn't have got that. But none of that today because the Brewers won. We're all happy the Brewers won. Wasn't the prettiest of games, but we'll take it. Wasn't the prettiest of games, especially that first inning. Could that first inning go any worse for the Milwaukee Brewers? Could it go any worse? That was about as bad as a first inning as it can get. I mean, think about it. The game starts off with a Willy Adames error at shortstop. Our shortstop, who is really good defensively, has had a couple of mistakes this year, but nonetheless, game starts with Ohtani getting on first base on an error. All right. Then singles by Betts and Freeman. And now you got the bases loaded and nobody out. Coming off two losses, you're thinking, all right, what's going to happen here? Now, the Brewers were fortunate to hold them to 3 runs. And at this point, Frankie Montas is on the hill. And I'm thinking to myself, the Cincinnati Reds didn't do us any favors trading this guy to the Brewers. That's what I was thinking. Because he had not pitched well in his previous 2 starts. And the bases were loaded. Nobody out at the top of the first inning. The Brewers having already lost to these guys 2 nights prior. Okay. And then the runs start coming in. A 4th guy reaches. Teoscar Hernandez is walked. 1 run gets pushed in. And the Brewers were fortunate to only allow 3 runs. Montas was very fortunate to only allow 3 runs. That could have been a 6 or a 7 run inning for the Dodgers. Okay. So 3-0 Dodgers before the Brewers even come to the plate. So bottom of the first inning, they're facing Walker Buehler, who's got an ERA near 6 going into this one. He walks the first 3 batters of the inning. All right. Brewers got a chance for a little bit of a comeback. I'm sure the live line was diving down a little bit. I'm sure the Dodgers were probably like 650, I would say, after scoring those 3 runs at the top of the first inning. The Brewers load the bases. Contreras at the plate hits a fly ball to center field. All right, the Brewers are going to get this first run. Kiermaier makes the catch in center field, throws out Turang at home plate. Very close play. Turang was out. So you go from having the bases loaded, nobody out, hoping for a big rally, 2 outs, man on base, and then Adames strikes out to end the inning. Just a terrible first inning. You give up 3 in the top of the first, bottom of the first, you have the bases loaded, nobody out, and you couldn't score. And Montas, what was he going to do for the next 4 innings? Well, he weaved himself in and out of trouble. He didn't have any 1, 2, 3 innings. He walked 1 in the second, walked 1 in the third. Oh, I take that back. 4th inning, he did have a 1, 2, 3 inning. But in the 5th inning, he got in some trouble. And got Kiki Hernandez to fly out to end the inning. That could have been a disaster right there. Left runners at second and third. So we got Montas through 5 innings. And after the game, he said he thought he threw it all right. But we asked him in the locker room, what were you thinking after that first inning? You give up 3 runs. And he was saying, I just got to keep my, and he told us, I was just wanted to keep my team in the ball game. Wanted to do whatever it takes to keep my team in the ball game. And he did. It wasn't pretty, but he went scoreless over the next 4 innings to keep the Brewers in the ball game. Brewers came back and scored 3 in the 2nd inning off Walker Buehler, who stinks. And then eventually the Brewers took a 4-3 lead and a 5-4 victory on an RBI single by Jackson Chourio. How did we guess that? I mean, if I would have just said, guess who had the game-winning RBI base hit without even watching the game, you would have said it was Jackson Chourio, probably. Sure enough. And the Brewers win. Brewers overcome some mistakes, some base running errors, and a bunch of other stuff. The bullpen, I thought, pitched pretty well. Koenig gave up only 1 run. He was the only reliever to give up a run. Otherwise, the bullpen, I thought, pitched pretty good. And the Brewers got the win. And Devin Williams, how great was that? We've been talking about the top of the order for the Dodgers, how they go 1, 2, and 3 with Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, 3 former MVPs at the top of the order. When has that ever been happening in Major League Baseball? So the Brewers holding on to a 5-4 lead, top of the 9th inning. D-Will comes in, and 7 pitches later, game over. Devin Williams, how about that? We talked to him in the locker room afterwards. He's a man of very few words. He's blunt. He gets to the point. You know, ain't no messing around and small talk with Devin Williams in the locker room. He's just telling it like it is. He said, I got to get outs, whether it's the bottom of the order, top of the order. Can't look at payrolls. No nonsense guy. Gotta like it. Comes in, a walk in the park. Ohtani fly out the left. Betsy strikes out on 3 pitches. And then Freeman, weak little grounder to finish off the game. I'll tell you, Ohtani, every time he gets up, even his fly balls, you got to hold your breath. Because his fly balls, he had a little cue shot to left field in the 9th inning, but you had to hold your breath. Because even when he doesn't get all of it, it's like, oh boy. Oh, I mean, he's just we all know that, a special player. And then Betts strikes out of 3 pitches, and then Freeman. 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 9th inning. Then I got a couple of messages after the game. The Brewers need to sign Devin Williams to a long-term contract. And that's something the Brewers don't want to do. A couple of you emailed me. I should say DM'd me on Twitter and said, should the Brewers sign D-Will to a long-term contract? Not should they, but they need to. The Brewers' history is, no, they won't. They won't buy players out of arbitration. They won't buy closers out of arbitration. They refuse to give the long-term contract. That was a frustrating thing for Josh Hader. He had to go to arbitration every year, and he hated doing it. And the Brewers will not give a long-term contract to their closer. Their philosophy is that closers, and the history in baseball is like this. Closers have a very small shelf life. The special ones don't, But their feeling is, why are we going to give this guy 3 years, $45 million when he could blow up on us? And we've seen relievers throughout Brewers history too, short-term guys that we thought might be long-term guys, that this guy was going to be special. Before you know it, he's bouncing around from other teams. They will not give long-term contracts out to closers, and they're not going to do it with Devin Williams. I can tell you that they are not going to do it with Devin Williams. That is just my belief on that. Being around the franchise, they are not going to give Devin Williams a long-term contract. I'm not saying anybody from the organization ever told me that, but I can tell you they will not do it. They'll eventually lose him to free agency. Sad, but so be it. That's what's going to happen. But we got to, just like Corbin Burns and some of these other guys, we got to enjoy them while we can. Enjoy them while we can. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. When we come back, what is Tyler Black doing? Batting in the meat of the order. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. If you're going to the game on Thursday, well, you're going to want to hit up Game Time. Game Time is my favorite app. That's the place where I get tickets, and especially last-minute tickets. You browse through the Game Time app on MLB or NBA, the Bucks as well. But you get flash deals, save even more with exclusive in-app deals, select seats ahead of the game or event, zone deals. Pick a zone, and you'll save that way. They'll choose the seat, you choose the section, and that's the way that works. All in pricing, so you're not going to get with all these hidden fees, and by the time you get to the end of the menu, you got 15 fees tacked on. That's not how it works with Game Time. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And here's what you got to do. Game Time app, you're going to the game on Thursday. It's a 1:10 start. Create an account with Game Time. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Let's say you buy 2 tickets for $80 on Thursday. $20 off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We are on all those major downloads, all of them. We're the number one Brewer podcast on the internet because of you great Brewer fans. So we're on all the platforms out there. And if you listen to us already on the audio, please go to YouTube. Hit us up and subscribe on YouTube. Search Locked On Brewers on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Hit the likes. That'll really, you're doing me a favor. You're doing us a favor here in the Brewer community. All our content on Locked On Brewers, all free. Everywhere on Locked On, it is free. Locked On Brewers, free content. We've been doing it for a while, and we are here for you Monday through Friday. As I mentioned on a talk show I was on the other day, somebody asked me about the episodes. I said, you know what, September, we might be going 7 days a week again. I'm thinking about that. Maybe 6 days a week, 7 days. When it gets to the nitty-gritty, when it gets to the playoffs, we're every day. Every day we'll be here in the playoffs. I mean, we're talking Saturdays, Sundays. We'll be here every day talking about this with you. I mean, the playoffs is certainly. Playoffs the first week of October already. Where are we? A month and a half away from that. All right. Tyler Black gets called up. Now, he wasn't all that impressive his first time around. Went down to the minors, hit 11 home runs down at Nashville. They brought him back up. And my first thought is, that's interesting. I'm bringing up Tyler Black. It looked like he was overmatched the first time around. So they bring him back, and he's in the lineup on Tuesday night. He's batting in the 4-hole. Unlike the Dodgers. The Dodgers, are going to have a set lineup every night. You look at their lineup, they're going to have a set lineup. Brewers, it's like throwing it all over the place, picking it out of a hat. And I know that they don't do that, but it's like a different lineup every night. And this has been going on for years. God, I would love to have the days of a set lineup again. A set lineup so you don't have to, juggle anything. And of course, there's always those surprises in that lineup. And Tyler Black batting third in the lineup tonight and fourth on Tuesday night. That is absurd. I don't get it. Took an 0 for tonight. I believe he took an 0 for Tuesday night too. I don't get it. Men in scoring position. How is Tyler Black? I put this on Twitter. Did he win some sort of contest? What does he have that he gets called up and he's not been on the team for a while, but he gets called up and automatically, it's not like Tyler Black has been tearing it up at AAA or, he's this big star coming off an injured list. Tyler Black, I mean, this is no offense to the kid, but how is he in the heart of the order? Because there's a right-handed pitcher out there? I don't get it. DHing. I don't know. I would still rather have Rhys Hoskins against the right-handed hitting Walker Buehler. You didn't have Rhys Hoskins. Jake Bauers, I get playing at first base, and he hit a home run against the righty. I don't know. Tyler Black. Why is he hitting in the 3-hole? Rhys Hoskins should be in that 3-hole at the DH spot tonight when he's not playing first base. Rhys Hoskins should be in the lineup every day. He's an everyday player. Tyler Black, not an everyday player. Dodgers must win. I don't want to see Tyler Black in the 3 or 4 hole. Man, when I'm making out that lineup, if I'm Pat Murphy, and Pat Murphy's done a great thing so far, but I got to imagine it's got to be tough for him going to the ballpark. All right, who do I got here? All right, I'm going to make my lineup. He sits down, brings out his pen. Who am I going to put? Oh, of course, I'm going to put Turang. Left-hander, I have Turang in the first hole. Churio, yeah, he's pretty good. I'll put him in the 2 hole. He's been doing good at third spot. The third spot, I would put Tyler Black there today. Put Tyler Black. How about Contreras? No, Tyler Black. Jake Bauers? No, Tyler Black. Garrett Mitchell, who's hitting well? No, Tyler Black. How about Rhys Hoskins? You're paying him? Nah, I'm good. We'll go with Tyler Black instead. Tyler Black is better than Rhys Hoskins. That's what he's telling me, even against the right-handed hitter. I don't want to see Tyler Black batting 3rd or 4th. I barely want the guy in the lineup, to be honest with you. Again, nothing personal, but I'm trying to win a pennant. I don't get it. Another right-hander is on the mound with Jack Flaherty coming up on Thursday. We're going to get to that coming up here in a little bit. How about the Brewers have yet to lose 4 in a row? The only team in baseball. They've got, I want to say, 8 3-game losing streaks this year. 8 3-game losing streaks. They minimize the losses. I mean, even the Dodgers have more than a 4-game losing skid this year. Brewers never more than a 3-gamer. How about that? If you bet on the Brewers, you keep doubling your money. What is that, the Martindale thing? I mean, you're eventually going to come out on top, right? Because they don't lose more than 3 in a row. At least this team hasn't this year. If you've done the Martindale thing, you're pretty good. All right, have yet to lose more than 4 in a row. I think that is such an amazing stat. They're 8.5 games up in the division right now. Their largest lead of the year. Everybody else in the division lost. All these teams are terrible. And if the Brewers could win coming up on Thursday, well, they're going to move right back to a game behind the Dodgers. Well, yeah, a game behind the Dodgers in the loss column, because that's what I'm looking at. A game behind the Dodgers in the loss column. They're 2 games behind the Dodgers right now in the loss column. Philly, who had been struggling, who won on Wednesday night, they have 50 losses. Dodgers have 50 losses, and the Brewers have 52. So, despite the 3-game skid, minimizing the losing skid, the Brewers, with a win on Thursday, huge game, can get back within 1 game of maybe the 2 or the 1 seed. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Going for the series split. That a good thing? Yeah, I'm all for that. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. And if you're not going to the game is on Sirius XM. the SXM app, search Brewers. You're going to get all 162 of the Brewers games on Sirius XM. Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate. Liquid IV's popsicle firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and chemically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. That is Liquid IV. Liquid IV. Went to the store counter yesterday after I got my gas. There's a little kiosk right there. Liquid IV. Liquid IV. You can also get it online. Go to liquidiv.com. Use the promo code MLB at checkout. You get 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Summer, this popsicle firecracker just tastes amazing. Just tastes amazing. But hey, it has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sport drink. And of course, if you're working out, you're sweating, it's August right now, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients. But you got to go to liquidiv.com, use the promo code MLB, and you're going to get 20%. You can get it at the counter too, but this way you get 20% off your first order with liquidiv.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. All right, Thursday morning, finishing off this long 4-game set with the Dodgers. Cleveland coming in Friday with this 10-game homestand winding up on Sunday. And, of course, if I run into you Thursday, it's supposed to be a rainy day in Wisconsin on Thursday. So I'm sure the roof will be closed for the game, the 1:10 start for the Brewers and Dodgers. But this weekend, got night games Friday, Saturday against Cleveland, and then a Sunday afternoon game against the first place Guardians. 2 players, 2 pitchers who are having great seasons. Jack Flaherty, who I'd want in Milwaukee, but Detroit ended up trading him to the Dodgers. Big shocker there. Tobias Myers takes a 6-5 at 2.79 earned run average to the hill. Has all the makings of a low-scoring game. See if the Brewers can get the Flaherty and get some production against him. Get him early in this game and get to the Dodgers bullpen. Make them get to some of their secondary bullpen guys. But Myers has just been so good. Somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, if the Brewers got to the postseason, would you start Tobias Myers in game 1? You'd have to think about it, but ain't no way they're going away from Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta, unless he was hurt, is going to be starting game 1 of whatever playoff series they're in, be it a wild card or a divisional series. Myers will start a game. It's just not he's just not starting game 1. But how could you argue? 6-5, 2.79 earned run average. Has had some games where they have not given him any offensive support. That's always a little scary. That's not his fault, but some pitchers sometimes don't get offensive support. Even some great Hall of Famers that we've seen, like the Greg Maddoxes of the world, never got offensive support. Hopefully, Tobias gets one. And yeah, getting a split with the Dodgers, I am good with that. That's not a defeatist attitude, but considering where this thing was trending in the first 2 games of the series, I'll take my insurance right there and take a win on Thursday, and I'll feel better with a split with these guys and the Guardians coming in. Because remember, next week, traveling to St. Louis for a 3-game set. The schedule is, again, it's a brutal schedule in August. So I'll take the split against the Dodgers. If you'd have told me Sunday after the Brewers lost to the Reds, Chuck, how do you feel about splitting against the Dodgers? I'd say I'd take it. I'd take it. Some teams in this division. How about the Pirates? I told you they were a fraud. They've lost 10 in a row. They've had a horrible West Coast road trip. Pirates making moves at the trading deadline. Pirates, the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates are back to being the Pirates. They were in second. Remember, they were in second place there for a while. 6.5 behind the Brewers. The Pirates. Not to worry. Like I said, even when they were 6 games, 6.5 out behind the Brewers, I said it's a 2-team race. And really, it's not even a 2-team race. It's a 1-team race. And the Brewers trying to catch the 2 teams ahead of them for that 1 and 2 seed, the Dodgers and Phillies. Hey, everybody, we'll see you at the ballpark on Thursday. Let's get that split in that series. Again, our podcast, it's all free. Google, Spotify, Apple, on all the major downloads, wherever you download your podcast, we are certainly there. And of course, our growing YouTube page. Please go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode. On my Twitter account, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. Some of you guys out there would rather ask me questions, and that's why I don't use your names on the air. If you ask me questions, because I figured you want to be private about that, that's great. But always feel free to DM me if you have any questions. I'll get back to you. Again, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. Thanks for making Locked On Brewers your first listen to every day. For your second listen to, go to Locked On MLB. My guy Sully on Locked On MLB. All the baseball news nightly, 5 nights a week on Locked On MLB. See you after the game tomorrow night, everybody. Let's get that split. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This is Chuck Freeman. Have yourself a great Thursday, everybody.